MotorWeek is made possible by Auto Value and Bumper to Bumper and TireRack.com.
On this edition of MotorWeek, it's part 2 of our 1987 Detroit New Car Preview with a look at the latest from General Motors and American Motors. Up next.
MotorWeek, television's automotive magazine, is proudly brought to you by Prestone Antifreeze and Coolant and by Prestone Super Flush Products. Your host for MotorWeek, John Davis.
Hello and welcome again to MotorWeek and to our 1987 New Car Preview. This week, the big and the small of Detroit's Big Four get our attention: giant General Motors and feisty American Motors. And Pat Goss will be back with more on transmissions for the modern car. We've got a lot of ground to cover, which, by the way, is something this Chevrolet Corvette can do, and fast. It's America's premier sports car, and up to now, General Motors' most exclusive passenger car. Still, even with GM's size, there are a few other exclusive market niches it hasn't explored yet. But this model year, there'll be one less. That's because '87 is the year of the Cadillac Alante. It's Detroit's first serious attack on the ultra-luxury sports car segment. Up to now, that's been firmly dominated by Mercedes-Benz and its latest 560 SL. First-year production will probably be limited to 6,000 cars, with an estimated price of near $50,000 each. To Cadillac's credit, they've enlisted some of the world's top suppliers for the Alante, beginning with Ferrari's favorite coach builder, Pininfarina. Both the conservative and hopefully timeless styling and build-up of the bodies is performed by the Italian masters near Turin. Painted and completed with interiors, Alante bodies are then air-shipped by 747 to the States as part of the world's longest assembly line. Once stateside, drivetrain installation and final testing are done in a special section of Cadillac's Hamtramck plant in Detroit, which is now outfitted with its own Alante test track. Like the Mercedes SL, the Alante is a two-seater only, with both a hard and fully concealed soft top included. Interior appointments are extremely luxurious. You get 10-way memory power seats, the work of Recaro, and a top-flight cassette stereo by Delco Bose. Instrumentation is digital, naturally, but with shapes that mimic analog dials. The Alante is so complete that the only option is a cellular phone. But good Alante first impressions are much more than just skin deep. Based on the EK Eldorado Seville front drive platform, the suspension is fully independent. Brakes are all power disc and are the first to use the third generation Bosch anti-lock system. Exclusive road contact is made with Goodyear's new Eagle VL tires. They claim both a smooth ride and the ability to withstand sustained speeds above 130. Even the traditional front-drive Cadillac power has a new twist in the Alante. The sculptured runners signify the 4.1-liter V8's first use of multi-point fuel injection. Output is rated at 170 horses and 230 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 times are just over 10 seconds. This year, all Alantes will come with a 4-speed computer-controlled automatic, but enthusiasts should note that a 5-speed manual is understudy. The Alante seems a very well thought-out design, forged by many of the world's best automotive minds. But most of all, it's the first step towards an exciting new direction for Cadillac. Well, since the Cadillac Alante will be only for a few, what has General Motors got for the Mini? Well, for that, we turn our attention to Pontiac and their very special way of interpreting the family sedan. Getting back into the full-size car business hasn't been fun for Pontiac, but that may change with the introduction of the 1987 front-drive Bonneville. The Bonneville is still a badge-engineered GM70 or H car, but it carries styling and enhancements that place it apart from its sister Buick LeSabre and Oldsmobile 88. The rounded front fascia is more European in form. It looks a little like a broad Saab 9000. The rear deck also gets a softer approach than other H versions. The family resemblance does continue with a tall four-door only roofline. No two-door this year at least, since GM feels Pontiac buyers would rather have the extra doors. You see, despite Pontiac's youth image, they still have a lot of young, thinking, older buyers, and that's where the Bonneville takes aim. Though the insides are covered with rich, demure cloth fabrics, there's still more than a sprig of plastic wood on the dash. But beyond that is an attractive, clear, and very modern arrangement of frameless, backlit analog gauges. Bonneville and other H models will also be among the first GM cars to offer passive restraints. Now, Bonneville will appear in 3 trim levels: Base, LE, and this SE. The LE takes a slant towards luxury, while the SE goes more for sport. To the Bonneville's all-independent suspension, the SE adds a Y99 handling package. That means 15-inch 65 Series Goodyear GT tires. Yet it retains a smoother ride and handling combination than Pontiac's smaller sedans that have similar rally suspensions. Like all H cars, the sole power plant is Buick's 3.8-liter V6, but the SE's twin-outlet exhaust is tuned for a throaty sound. Good thing, since a 4-speed automatic still does all the shifting. Visually, the SE substitutes gray and black trim for most chrome. It has added fog lamps, and two-tone paint is an option. They top off the sedan's already intriguing Pontiac-style appearance. And that's the key to the new full-size Bonneville. It's a civilized family car that's not just another sedan clone. It gets more than a pinch of Pontiac excitement. Now, even if the Bonneville and Alante both do well, they'll still account for less than 3% of the cars that GM expects to sell this year, not to mention their trucks. So as usual, there's much more going on with the General. Beginning with their ever-shrinking array of traditional rear-drive family cars. The most popular, still the Chevrolet Caprice. Likely to be around for some years to come, Chevy is pushing the Caprice slightly up market in 1987 with a new Caprice Classic Brougham. The ranks of GM's rear-drive midsize G-Class are thinning this year and will be virtually gone by 1988. Highlights include the NASCAR-inspired bubble-back Chevrolet Monte Carlo Aeroback SS and Pontiac Grand Prix 2+2. Both have good old boy 4-barrel carbureted V8s. The flashy Oldsmobile Cutlass 442 also gets V8 power, and high-tech is the tune for the V6 turbo intercooled Buick Regal Grand National. It was last year's fastest production car on a cold day, and it'll be around one last time. GM's only other rear-drive sedan is the Chevette. It will also disappear next year, as will Pontiac's 1000. The 1000 will be replaced with the Korean-built Le Mans next spring. Chevette's entry-level position will be filled by existing Chevy Japanese imports. Chevy's smallest front driver, the Suzuki-made Sprint, gets added turbo power to its tiny 1-liter 3-cylinder injected power plant. Horsepower is up from 48 all the way to 70. Or try Chevy's Spectrum Turbo, made by Isuzu. A 40% boost in horsepower is in order for its multi-port fuel-injected 1.5-liter motor. It's finished in charcoal with orange accents. The much-talked-about Chevrolet Nova, made in California with Toyota, is GM's #1 car in terms of customer satisfaction. Wider tail lamps are the biggest change. The venerable J-bodies have a lot to do with GM's improving front-wheel drive market penetration. Leading the pack is the Chevrolet Cavalier. The sportiest Z24 gains 10 horsepower on its 2.8-liter V6 after an extensive friction and weight reduction program. The so-called Generation 2 motor is available with a new Getrag-designed, Muncie-built 5-speed manual. It has just the right combination of short throws and solid feel that GM front drivers have needed for so long. There are a lot of other Cavaliers, a 2-door coupe and convertible, 3-door hatchback, and 4-door sedan and wagon. All come standard with a 2-liter 4 that's also been given the Generation 2 fitness program. Pontiac will soar higher with its Sunbird J and another 2-liter motor, but this time with turbo to boost. Enlarged from 1.8 liters last year, it's also available with the new 5-speed. Output is up 15 to 165 horses for an estimated 0 to 60 time of 8.5 seconds. The Sunbird GT has a fine WS6 suspension package with 60 Series Eagle GT tires. Buick also gets the same overhead cam turbo motor for its Skyhawk series. The top Skyhawk hatchback again uses fold-away headlamps, but even the Skyhawk Custom gets a taste of performance. with an eyes-open rendition of the same front end. Oldsmobile retrims its Forenza only slightly next year. They'd rather use the V6 with the 5-speed on their top GT model. However, all Forenza models except the wagon get the firmer FE3 suspension package. Pontiac has had the most success in the past in their 2- and 4-door sedan in-car stable. Come January, they'll enhance it further with a turbo option. Combined with either the 5-speed manual or 3-speed automatic, the special Grand Am SE will be an option above the standard 3-liter V6 automatic combo. The SE also gets a new gauge cluster with Pontiac's latest performance seating up front and split-folding seatbacks in the rear. Composite headlights that first appeared on the Olds Calais GT last year make it to all their models in '87. And this Buick Skylark, like all in-cars, is scheduled to get GM passive restraint belts later in the model year. The Skylark's base 2.5-liter 4 gets shake-reducing balance shafts when ordered with a standard 5-speed manual. A new mid-size front-drive GM25L body for Chevrolet will bow by spring. The 4-door is called Corsica, the 2-door Beretta. They fill a size niche left by the old X-body Citation, but prices will be considerably higher. Current GM mid-level family models revolve mostly around the A-body, such as this Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra. Olds was the only division to get this smoother 2-door roof line late last year. It's handsome and fits well with the new flush-lit front. A Brougham wagon will also debut. Buick will be lying down on its T-types this year. They prefer touring packages that allow buyers to pick and choose among former T-type equipment. With all of it in place, the Century is still one of our favorite family sedans. We found the GetRag 5-speed well-suited to the Chevrolet Celebrity Eurosport. It lends itself well to this year's Continental exterior styling. And then there's the Pontiac 6000 STE. Not only does the new 5-speed fit it best, but likewise the finally available 4-speed overdrive automatic. Otherwise, this wonderful street machine stays pretty much untouched, including the anti-lock brakes that never really made it to full production as promised in '86. But bigger cars have always been GM's bread and butter, and there are 2 large front-drive series available, beginning with the H-Class. Besides Pontiac's new Bonneville, there's the Oldsmobile 88 Royale and the Buick LeSabre, both back with flush headlights and added convenience features. But Buick is getting sinister with this blacked-out LeSabre T-type coupe. Distinctive inside, too, it even includes the most usable analog gauge cluster from Buick in years. Low-restriction exhaust adds audible spunk to the 3.8-liter V6. Differ suspension with stickier tires takes care of the rest. Add on anti-lock brakes and you've got a really nice piece of work. Top front drive series is still Electra at Buick and 98 Regency at Olds. Fresh faces here too, as Olds adds a special touring sedan option. Gray trim outside, real wood and leather inside, plus analog instruments. GM's personal prestige lineup focuses on both its Buick Riviera and Oldsmobile Toronado. Buick has been hard-pressed to fill orders for its Riviera T-Type. For '87, it gets a new paint scheme and revised graphic control center. Low travel switches replace last year's touch-sensitive membrane switches. Getting in on Buick's T-Type set, Oldsmobile is introducing a special Toronado Trofeo. With a revised grille, it features Olds' fine FE3 handling suspension and a standard leather interior. Both the Toronado and Riviera will be among the first GM cars to offer rear seat shoulder belts. GM's best-known F-body, the Chevrolet Camaro, rockets into 1987 with air conditioning now available on its new Corvette 5.7-liter V8 option. The carbureted 5-liter is gone. 2 new models of Pontiac's Firebird will bow. 1987 marks the return of the bargain formula, also available with the biggest V8, and the very trendy Firebird GTA. This most impressively appointed Firebird features Pontiac's latest articulated bucket seats. Pontiac's other speedster, the Fiero, gets the long-awaited 5-speed with its V6 and a larger fuel tank. Since the top GT and SE both got revised styling over the last year, now the more modestly priced Coupe and Sport Coupe have their shapes smoothed and refined. Chevrolet's Corvette bumps the ante of high-performance hardware up with the first low tire pressure sensor on any production car. A small device in each wheel radios signals to a dash light monitor if the pressure falls below 25 pounds. Otherwise, both coupe and convertible stay mostly the same, except for a new mid-level Z52 suspension option. Chevrolet and GMC trucks and vans are an increasingly large part of the corporation's master plan. But the biggest news won't come till the new full-size pickups and utility models arrive next spring. The more compact Chevy S10 and GMC S15 pickups get minor changes. Their counterpart sport utility models get a striking Blazer High Country and Jimmy Timberline paint scheme. Chevrolet Astro and GMC Safari vans go to the small van head of the class with a 6,000-pound towing limit. A sports luxury-oriented touring package includes unique color-keyed wheels and interior trim. Meanwhile, GM's luxury division, Cadillac, will be trying to pump up interest in its array of Luxo boats. The front drive DeVilles and Fleetwoods get flush lamps in the front, plus a small rear fender extension for a long and, dare we say, lower look. Anti-lock brakes continue as an option. A special stretched Fleetwood brings back the famous 60 Special name. With a 5-inch body extension, all going to rear seat room, the 60 Special will tell Cadillac if the market does exist for an even roomier front driver luxury car. With only 2,060 Specials available this year, we bet they'll go fast. The Eldorado gets an optional touring suspension in 1987 to complement its already impressive all-independent, all-disc brake chassis. The four-door Seville concentrates on recalibration of its standard suspension. Like all Caddies, features like power door locks, windows, and 6-way seats come standard. The best news for the compact Cimarron will be composite headlights on all models. Serious drivers will applaud the availability of the new Getrag 5-speed. Chevrolet, Pontiac, Buick, Oldsmobile, Cadillac, and GMC trucks. Once again, the biggest variety of cars and trucks from the world's biggest maker of mobility. A lot to look into for 1987. Technology is developing so fast that virtually nothing about the car is the same as it was just a few years ago. Take transmissions, for instance. You're benefiting from new technology every time you shift into drive. So here's Pat Goss with part 2 of what makes the modern automotive transmission whirl and click. Pat?
Well, John, you're having all this fun talking about new automobiles. I'd like to have some fun talking about new technology. Last time we talked about manual transmissions in cars and how the clutch mechanism worked, how the clutch disc is kind of sandwiched between the pressure plate and the flywheel, and how all of this is coupled together to drive the transmission and on into the drive wheels of the car. Well, this time let's talk a little bit about automatic transmissions. Now here we have a whole different ballgame. Well, at least up to a point we do. The first thing that we have to realize is that we have a different method of hooking the transmission to the engine. We start here again with a flywheel, but now connected to the flywheel we have a torque converter. This is a fluid coupling that connects the flywheel to the automatic transmission. But then what exactly is a torque converter? Well, here we have one that's cut away, so we'll take it apart and we'll take a look inside it and see how it works. Now, the outside portion of this part right here and the part that I have in my hand here, this is all one piece when it's on the car, and it turns with the engine. Whenever the engine is running, this rotates. Okay, now as it rotates, we have parts inside here, vanes in this particular case. They move with this torque converter cover, and inside of this torque converter, it's completely filled with automatic transmission fluid. As it turns, it gets this fluid to moving with it by means of these vanes. All right, now this moving fluid in here, it pushes against this other set of vanes right here. Now this is a movable part, and the force of that fluid hitting these vanes on the movable internal part of the torque converter makes it move. Now it's this internal part that is actually connected to the transmission, and this is what makes the transmission move. This is what delivers the power to the automatic transmission. Okay, well, this is a fluid coupling. You really don't have metal touching metal or metal moving metal to make everything work. Well, at least that's the way it's been for many, many years. But now we have some modern technology. And here we have another torque converter. This is off of a much newer car. If we were to look at this portion of it, well, this portion is pretty much the same as it was in the older one. But over here, in the cover of this, we have some drastic differences. Let's take this apart. We look in here, and right here on this surface, we find friction material. Friction material that is very much like the friction material on the clutch in a manual transmission car. Now what happens is that when this car reaches a certain gear or load, or however it's determined that this should be engaged, this is pressed against the clutch cover. This locks everything together, and this does away with the fluid coupling, makes it just like the manual transmission car. Now this works good as far as efficiency is concerned, but it has a couple of drawbacks. First of all, when it engages, you get a lurch. This is referred to in the industry as chuggle. Well, one of the things that they have done to try to eliminate that is there's springs inside this portion in here, and that's supposed to cushion it. Well, it does up to a point, but it really isn't all that effective. So what's happening? Well, there are some new things that are occurring. The primary one is a viscous clutch that replaces this one right here. The viscous clutch uses a different type of fluid that, primarily it's heat sensitive, and it's also controlled by the onboard computer on the car to make this clutch mechanism, well, it engages very smoothly and does away with the chuggle. It also has almost the same efficiency as the mechanical type. Now, either way, the mechanical type or the viscous type clutch, they both approach the same degree of efficiency as the manual transmission car. So anymore with the modern automobile, what we're not looking at efficiency anymore. We are looking at whichever type of transmission really suits your type of driving. It's your choice.
Thanks, Pat. Well, now it's time to see what's new with the smallest of Detroit's auto builders, American Motors. In early 1987, AMC, its Jeep division, and its French partner Renault are mostly treading water. They're preparing 2 new models due in the spring, but AMC has managed some big improvements for their existing lineup.
That includes a new approach for their staple, the Alliance small car project. In 1987, the theme includes all that jazz on the very sporting Renault GTA 2-door sedan and convertible. They are AMC's entries into the pocket rocket class, now dominated by the VW GTI. But the GTAs are much more than gussied-up run-of-the-mill Alliances. The GTA will be the only Renault sold with a new 2-liter high-output motor. Its throttle body injection produces 95 horses and 114 pound-feet of torque. That's about 20% more than last year's largest Alliance motor. It travels through a smoother shifting close-ratio 5-speed manual transaxle too, and reaches the road through 15-inch Michelin XGT sport radials. This is the first application of the new XGT tires to a production car. With revised spring rates, gas struts and shocks, larger rear stabilizer bar, and a lower stance to the road, the GTA is quite a precise handler. Body work includes monocolor paint and trim in white, black, red, and silver. Air dams, wheel spats, and sculptured rocker panels encircle the car and give it a low, aggressive look. Inside, the GTA gets highly bolstered seats with see-through headrest adapted from Renault's European line. There's leather on the shifter knob and wheel, and a good complement of clear gauges on the revised Alliance dash. Give AMC and Renault a lot of credit for putting so much work into the GTA. It means the Alliance got yet another major upgrade in style and performance. The other major news for U.S.-built Renaults is that Encore hatchback models will now also be called Alliance. This gives the subcompact Alliance a 2, 3, 4, and 5-door range of sedans, liftbacks, and convertibles. All get a revised grille that trades in last year's quad headlamps for a single pair now closely grouped with the parking lights. Last year's only imported Renault, the 18i-based Sport Wagon, is gone. The plans are now firm for a March introduction of the new Renault Medallion. This larger 4-door sedan and station wagon series is based on the new R21. The second car AMC is preparing for next spring is the image-making Alpine sports car. With turbo V6 and a host of high performance and luxury features standard, it will have price near the Corvette range. Look for the Alpine on the West Coast first in May. Over at the Jeep side of the corporation, they've just finished the introduction of the all-new Wrangler open-body Jeep. So this year they turn their efforts to major powertrain changes for the highly successful Cherokee Wagoneer sport utility wagons. Last year's GM-built 2.8-liter V6 has been replaced by a Jeep-designed 4-liter inline six-cylinder. With ratings of 173 horsepower and 200 pound-feet of torque, it gives the Cherokee Wagoneer the most power in its class. Transmissions include a new 4-speed automatic with lock-up torque converter. The top-line shift-on-the-fly select-track 4-wheel drive system has also been modified for one-lever operation. Jeep's mid-size Comanche pickup also adds the new 4-liter motor, plus a new short bed model. 6.6 inches shorter in the wheelbase, the standard cargo box is down from 7 foot to 6. Jeep's other working models, the full-size J10 and 20 pickups and posh Grand Wagoneer, get few changes this year. The Grand Wagoneer will get first use of Michelin's new True Seal self-sealing tire, and the Husky 5.9-liter V8 will be standard for the first time. The Concord-based AMC Eagle 4x4 will once again be available in 4-door sedan and wagon. Most likely this will be its last year of production. AMC, Jeep, Renault, offering a trio of approaches to both the wides and the narrows of the U.S. car market for 1987.
Now it's time to get back to the business of seeing if the new cars really live up to their press releases. I hope you'll join us here every week on MotorWeek.
MotorWeek was proudly brought to you by Prestone Antifreeze and Coolant and by Prestone Super Flush Products.
The MotorWeek app, which includes our latest reviews and feature stories, is now available for mobile devices.